Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Om Sahanavatu Sahanot Bhunaktu Sahaviryan Karavavahe Tejasvinabdhitamastu ma vidvishavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So the next answer is kṣapaṇātsarvapāpānāṃ trāṇātsarvasya pārvati rudraśaktisamāveśastatkṣetraṃ tattkṣetraṃ bhāvanā parā. Okay. Now we are talking about kshetra. After talking about the japa, etc., we are talking about the kshetra. What is kshetra? Kshetra means holy site, holy place, a pilgrimage. So, what is kshetra here? He says, where all the sins are dissolved and we are completely protected from the cycle of birth and death. O Parvati, that identity with the Shakti of Rudra, Shakti of Bhairavi Samavesha. So that is called as a kshetra. That is the supreme bhāvanā, supreme meditation, identification. Now, kshetra normally, as I said, means the holy place, holy site, the pilgrimage. Now in the world we see Kurukshetra, Dharmakshetra, your Rishikesh, Haridwar, Tiruvannamalai, Tirthamalai, etc. Kshetras, holy sites. So when you go to these places, you get rid of your papas, sins. Now, when you do some papa there, what happens? There is a shloka, there is a verse which says, anyathā kritam papam punyakshetre vinashyati. Punyakshetre kritam papam kumbhakone vinashyati. Kumbhakone kritam papam kumbhakone eva vinashyati. Meaning, if you do some sin somewhere, that is dissolved in the holy places. But if you perform an unholy act in a holy place, then it cannot be dissolved in that place. You should have to come to this place called Kumbhakona. Kumbhakona is a place which is in South India, close to Tanjavur, Trichy, Tanjavur, Kumbhakonam, that's all the belt. That is where it will get dissolved. But if you do perform a sin in Kumbhakona itself, what will happen? If you perform a sin in Kumbhakona itself, it will dissolve. That is what it says. Anyway, kṣapaṇātsarvapāpānāṃ. Why is this? What is this kshetra? This kshetra is a rudraśaktisamāveśastatkṣetraṃ, becoming absolved, identified with the Rudra Shakti. We have understood the Shakti and the Shiva, they are not different, they are one. Okay, so Rudra Shakti, identity getting identified with the Rudra Shakti or becoming absolved in that absolute power, absolute state. That is what is kshetra. Why is it called a kshetra? And question is answered with a sarvapāpānāṃ kṣapaṇāt. Since it is a destroyer of all these sins. Sarvapāpānāṃ, all these sins, kṣapaṇāt, it destroys. Since it destroys all these sins, that is not the only thing. You have punya. What will happen to punya? Because of punya, you are going to be born again. So for that, he says, sarvasya trāṇāt, trapu rakshani, to protect. So it protects you from all the things from cycle of birth and death. Therefore, hey Parvati, O Parvati, this is what is called as a kshetra, not the other things. The other things are, there are two kinds of meanings. The tantra meaning is the primary meaning. The secondary meaning is the worldly meaning. In the world, those are the primary meanings, and something else is secondary meaning, not this tantra thing. That is also true. So in tantra, this is what is the primary. Gaining identity with the absolute is what is primary meaning. Everything else is secondary. But in the world, that is primary and everything else is secondary. So that is what is called a kshetra. That is the supreme bhāvanā, supreme meditation. Okay. anyathā tasya tattvasya ka pūjā kaśca tṛpyati. Now, if this is not true, then what is puja, what is worship, and who is going to be pleased by that worship? Anyathā, otherwise. This is what we explained. Otherwise, tasya tattvasya, for that absolute truth, absolute bhairava, that bhairava. Ka pūjā, what worship can you do? Because there is no duality. Where can there be worship of bhairava? Kaśca tṛpyati, and who is to be satisfied? Because there is none other than the bhairava. Who is becoming satisfied? Okay? No. svataṇtrānandacinmātrasāraḥ svātmā hi sarvataḥ āveśanaṃ tatsvarūpe svātmanaḥ snānamīritam. What is bathing? Normally, bathing is going to holy places, holy rivers, and taking a dip, or taking a dip in the river, or even pouring water from the well or pipe, whatever. That is bathing. That is normal with water. There are different kinds of bathing, like mantra snāna, using the mantra, chanting the mantra, and getting cleansed, sprinkling some holy ash, or sprinkling some sand from the cow's hoof, or the vayu snāna. Different kinds of bath is there. Now, among them, what is bathing? What is bath? So that is explained here, the sacred bathing. svataṇtrānandacinmātrasāraḥ svātmā hi sarvataḥ āveśanaṃ tatsvarūpe svātmanaḥ snānamīritam. So, bathing for oneself is to be always absorbed in that absolute self, which is of the inherent nature of existence, knowledge, bliss. Okay, that is what is said here. Swatantra means existence, truth. Swatantra means normally independent. How can this be truth? What is truth? Truth means trikālabādhyatvam, that which is not negated in all three periods of time is what is truth. Nowadays, these smart people, they write, they have this editing photos and all that possibility. So they write a 6, and one idiot stands on one side and the other idiot stands on the other side. They say this is 6, the other fellow will say this is 9, and there will be a caption below which says oh, it doesn't mean because you are right, it does not mean that the other fellow is wrong. He is also right. How can both be right? This is all this see, in the world this may be true, but with respect to the truth, this is the biggest problem which destroyed the Sanatana Dharma. Destroyed Sanatana Dharma? Yes, sir. The Sanatana Dharma was everywhere, in every nook and corner of the creation. And now it is shrunk to a small place. So the biggest problem is these idiot sadhus. Sadhu means sadhu, good people. Sadhu means good people. Now these people are idiots. What to do? They go and blabber saying everything is one. All the path leads to the same goal. That is not possible. Anyway, swatantra means independent, first meaning. But swatantra means truth, because truth is that which is not limited to time. Since it is not limited to time, it cannot be limited by space. Since it is not limited by time and space, it cannot be limited by causation also. Truth is that which is not limited by time, space, and causation. Swatantraha, that is why it is independent. Okay? Then ananda, bliss. Since it is independent, it is bliss, because when it is dependent or associated with something, there is a fear. There can be no bliss. So independent, therefore it is bliss. Then why it is bliss? Because it is of the nature of knowledge. Chinmatra, existence, knowledge, bliss, truth, knowledge, bliss, sata chitta anantam, satyam jnanam anantam. That is what is said here. Sarah svātmā, that is the essence of the self. one's individual self. Sarvataḥ tatsvarūpe āveśanaṃ svātmā. That is what is the inherent nature of the self. And in every place, every time, every situation, being absorbed in that inherent nature, tatsvarūpe, in that inherent nature. That is what is called as a svātmanaḥ snānam. That is what is called as a bathing for oneself. So bathing of oneself. Okay. So the other snāna is because why we are talking about snāna, bathing, because taking bath is an important aspect of either any kind of ritual, whether it is a pūjā or it is japa or it is a yaga, homa, whatever be the ritual, bathing is one important aspect. That is why he is taking that snāna. Next, yaireva pūjyate dravyaihi tṛpyate va parā yaścaiva pūjakaḥ sarvaḥ evaikaḥ pūjanam. Yaireva pūjyate dravyaihi tṛpyate va parāparaḥ yaścaiva pūjakaḥ sarvaḥ sa evaikaḥ pūjanam. Who is with whatever you worship, who is worshipped, and who is the worshipper, they are all one and the same. Therefore, where is the puja possible? Yehi eva dravyaihi pūjyate. With whatever dravyas, materials, you do the worship. Normally, we saw yesterday, when you do worship, you need pushpa, dhupa, deepa, nivedya, etc. Right? So, all these different things. Sandal, these incense sticks, the lamp, the flowers, fruits and other things for offering. You have all this. That is what is the dravyas. Okay. Tṛpyati va parāparaḥ. The parāparaḥ, the supreme one, parāparaḥ. Para means the supreme. Aparaḥ means not supreme. That is what is the meaning. Para means the absolute. Apara means the transactional. That is also another meaning. Para in reality means that which is the supreme of everything. Even the world, the supreme in the world is inferior to this. Paro api aparaḥ yasya. That is what is parāparaḥ. Okay. Even the supreme, whatever you consider in the world as supreme, that is also inferior in this. From this, that is why it is called as parāparaḥ. That Bhairava state. That is a tṛpyate, one who is being pleased through this puja, appeased through this puja. One is propitiated through this puja. Okay? And yaścaiva pūjakaḥ, and the one who is the worshipper, you. So, the means and the worshipped. All these, sarvaḥ sa icchayā. All these are that one Bhairava alone. When there is no duality of any kind, then pūjanam, where is the puja possible? There is no puja, etc. possible. Or other than the puja kind of, with the kind of puja we said, there is no other kind of puja possible. The aforesaid puja, other than that, there is no other puja possible. Being established in the absolute is what is puja. vrajetprāṇo viśejjīva icchayā kutilakritihi dirghatma sa mahādevi parakṣetraṃ parā. We'll read the other two also. Asyām anucharan dishtan mahānandamaye'dhvare taya devya samāviṣṭah param bhairavam apnuyāt षट्शतानि दिवारात्रौ सहस्राण्येक विंशति हंस हंसेति मंत्रेण जीवो जपति सर्वदा जपो देव्या समुद्दिष्टः प्राणस्यान्ते सुदुर्लभः. Now, what he says is vrajetprāṇo viśejjīva icchayā kutilakritihi dirghatma sa हे महादेवी परक्षेत्रम परापरा अस्याम अनुचरन् तिष्ठन् mahānandamaye'dhvare तया देव्या समाविष्टः परं भैरवम् आप्नुयात् षट्शतानि दिवारात्रौ सहस्राणि एकविंशति हंस हंसेति जपो मंत्रेण जीवो जपति सर्वशः सर्वदा Japo devya samuddishtaha prānasyante sudurlabha. Okay. What does he say? You exhale the prana and you inhale the jiva, the apana, and naturally it is a crooked. When that becomes straightened, O Mahadevi, that is the absolute state. When you are practicing this continuously, when you are practicing this fire oblation of absolute bliss continuously, then you become identified with that supreme goddess. And O supreme goddess, when you identify with that, then you become that absolute Bhairava himself. Okay? Now, how to do that? Now, every day you do the japa, natural japa, which is a Shat Shatani Sahasrani Ekavimshati. There are 21,600 times the inhaling and exhaling takes place. Now, that is what is called as japa. Oh Devi, when you are identified with that japa, which is in the form of Hamsa, then you become identified with that absolute self, the Bhairava. This is difficult at the end of your life. Okay. This practice is difficult at the end of the life. Vrajetprāṇo means the prana goes out. Viśejjīva, jiva enters. What? Prana goes out and apana enters. That is what is right? But he has said jiva enters. Because if the vital air travels outside and stays outside, then he is no more a jiva, he is dead. Okay, so jiva, the word itself says jiva is from root word jiva pranadharane, the one which supports or which holds to the prana. So the entering of the prana, which is called as apana, is jiva in fact. So this jiva naturally, icchayā kutilakriti, naturally is in crooked form. Why? Because we said the natural breathing, which is a japa in himself, it's called a hamsa mantra. That's why hamsa hamseti mantrena he says in the final penultimate line. Hamsa hamsena mantrena japati jivo japati nityashah. Continuously this jiva chants this Hamsa mantra. Hamsa mantra means it is not Hamsa, Hamsa, Hamsa or Hamsa, Hamsa. No, this is not it. Naturally, when you breathe externally, meaning when you exhale, then that is in the form of and when you inhale, it is in the form of S. Okay? Hamsa, Hamsa. Okay, that is what is Hamsa mantra. Now, this is not something which you need to practice, which you have to do, like we specified in the dharana. This is not a dharana. This is a natural activity which takes place. This is called as ajapa japa. A japa which is not performed. That is what is called as ajapa japa. Okay? So, natural japa this is. Naturally, every being does this japa. Now, we are not going to focus on the breathing out, breathing in. We are not focusing on the starting and ending state. We are not focusing on anything with relationship to the breathing. We become the breathing itself. And when we become that, because this is continuous process for a jiva, that is why he says, Shatshatani divarato sahasrani ekavimshati. Shatshatani means 600. Shata means 100. Centum, shata, shantam. So 100. Shat means 600. Sahasrani. Sahasrani means 1,000. How many thousands? Ekavimshat. Ekavimshati. Ekavimshati. Eka means 1. Vimshati means 20. 21. 21,600. 21,600 times divara through day and night. This jiva does this Hamsa mantra. It's a natural process. And we spoke about this earlier during the Kundalini discussion, Prana discussion, etc. There I said also, what did we say? I also spoke about the roof, the plates, golden plates which they have kept in the roof of a Chidambaram temple. I spoke about that. 21,600 tiles on the roof, and they are connected with the um, the nails, which are the number of bones, etc. I spoke about that, right? Okay. Now, 21,600 times this jiva continuously does this japa, which is a natural processor, and this ha is the external and sa is internal. Okay. So when this ha, what is ha in Sanskrit? If you write ha is like a one straight line hanging yes and a C hanging to the yes, bottom of yes. So that is what is ha. You write a straight line, draw a S and connect a C to the bottom. Now that is yes, ha. Now this form is like the serpent which is of the Kundalini. Ha is crooked, it's not straight. It is like the serpent of Kundalini. There are two nadis. One is Ida, the other is Pingala. The left and right nadis, which are called as Ida and Pingala. And apart from the Ida and Pingala, there is one nadi which goes in the middle called as Sushumna. The prana, when the Kundalini Shakti is activated from the Mooladhara, it travels through that Sushumna straight line, goes directly to the crown of the head. There is where the Shiva Shakti Aikyā takes place. Dirghatma. When that Dirghatma means when that elongated straight, when that straight line, instead of being crooked and it becomes a straight line, Hey Mahadevi, oh great goddess, then Parakshetram, that is the supreme abode. Parā, that is the greatest of everything. Supreme to everything. Asya anujaran dishtan, in this mahānandamaye'dhvare, in this fire oblation of absolute bliss, when you are continuously being established using the Hamsa mantra, then taya devya samavishtaha, he is being associated with that Bhairavi, and because of that, the Bhairavi who is associated with that absolute Bhairava, Param Bhairavam, he gains that state of Param Bhairavam, the absolute Bhairava, who is associated with Bhairavi. See, in North India, if you go, there will be a Shiva temple. That's all, independent Shiva temple. Sometimes around the Shivalinga or on the walls of the Shiva, the temple, they'll have the Shiva family, Parvati, one statue of Parvati, one statue of Ganesha, etc. It is. But in South India, there will be different sanctum sanctoriums for Shiva and Parvati. So every temple will have a goddess and the god. So when you take the name, normally we say, okay, I'm going to this Tirthamala Tirthagirishwara temple. But when you specifically say, we also are associated with that goddess. So he says, Param Devya Samavishtaha Bhairava. The Bhairava who is along with the consort Devi Bhairavi Apnuyat, he gains that Paramapnuyat, he gains that absolute state. Okay. Now, this state Japo Devya Samudrishta, this is what is called as the Devi's Japa, which is the Hamsa mantra, which is difficult for someone at the end of the life. Because this is possible only when the punya karma which has been which we have performed for multiple past births, in multiple past births, fructify to give the result of becoming the Bhairava. Otherwise, it is impossible. At the end of the life, if you say, without the previous punya, you will not be able to practice at the end of the life. Meditate on this or at the end of the life. Or pranasya ante means not at the end of the prana. It can also mean when the prana becomes subtle and elongated. Dirghascha sukshmaha, that is what Yoga Sutra says. When the prana becomes subtle and elongated, there is a lot of space. When that in that space, in that elongated state, it is possible. Not in short breaths. Okay, we'll see. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamādaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.